You've been hanging on to something. What that something is to you is going to be different for every person that's hearing this. But you've been hanging on to it for dear life. Perhaps that's because you don't know what you're going to be like as a person without that thing, without that person. You're scared of who you might be without that. And so basically, you've been wanting to sit in this delusion of perhaps I can still keep this in my life and be able to complete the mission that I'm wanting to complete, or that I'm needing to complete, or I'll still be able to accomplish all of my goals, knowing there's just no possible way that they can continue forward with you at this point, or it can continue with you on your journey at this point. Because until something drastic changes, whatever this thing is, it's not bringing balance into your life. You're still lopsided. You're still uneven, and without balance, all things are going to crumble. Crawl. Without balance, we can't function correctly because we're stumbling, we're tripping, we're falling, and we can't think clearly. We can't regulate our emotions properly. Why are we hanging on to something that we know is not for us at this time on our journey? What's the message for the collective? What do we need to see from the situation? What is being hidden from us? What advice do you have for us? What other people, places, or things are involved in this situation? And how do we resolve it? How do we come to an agreement? How do we move forward? I petition that you guys make whoever needs to see this, see it, and see it at the very time that they need to see it. All who will resonate with this message, it will be drawn to them, and they will be drawn to it. For the highest and greatest good of all, drawn to none. There hasn't been boundaries in this situation, this relationship, this circumstance, this entire time. Because whether you're not listening to their boundaries, or they're not listening to yours, or you're not giving yourself a boundary within doing a certain thing or whatever. Whatever boundaries there might have been never got followed. They were always stepped over, walled off, pushed down, shoved back. You broke all of your rules over and over. And you didn't care while you were even doing it. You just kept making an excuse. Like somehow there would be a reason for you to do such a thing. Maybe it's that drug that you've been addicted to for how many years. And you said, okay, well, I'll never do this drug. But then you did it. And you just made up some excuse. Well, now that's the very drug that you can't get off of. Maybe it's that sex working job where you said that you would never go further than this, and you ended up going further than that. It's these things that aren't balanced out in our life that bring us the most shame and guilt. And the shame and the guilt literally pulls us down to the lowest of vibrations, especially when they remain stuck in our bodies. Getting out of your head first. Or could this be completely reversed altogether, and you keep walling yourself off, thinking you need to be on guard because up until this point, every single person has shown you that they can't be trusted. And so now you don't know how to be vulnerable. You don't know how to open up your heart because you're scared that if you do that again, you will only open yourself up for more heartbreak. But in doing so, are you closing yourself off to the very things that you always wanted? Maybe this person is the person that will ultimately bring you everything that you have ever desired, and you fail to be vulnerable with them, and they can't see a life with you because they need somebody that is vulnerable. They need to feel emotionally connected. But you don't know how to be emotional anymore. And this person is just thinking about you because the grass is definitely greener. And they're not a psychopath. And they don't mind if you do some things alone. They will let you be your divine feminine. Your whole softness can come out and be safe and be loved, be fed and nourished and replenished. I love seeing how cute you are when you're angry. So this person's saying, like, I get what you've been through, and I know it's hard to trust, but I'm gonna stick around. I am not leaving, no matter how hard this gets, no matter how crazy you look, no matter what you think. It's real. And you can be any one of yourselves with this person, because they're going to treat each and every one with love and respect. And no matter what self that you happen to be in at that time, you can trust in them that they're going to keep you safe. So don't close yourself off either, but make sure you do have your boundaries and you stand firm in them so that you can be secure and proud of yourself. And maybe this time, in this circumstance, in this situation, in this relationship, perhaps you just go with the flow and don't have any expectations. Just let the situation flow as it should. You look the best when you first wake up. And maybe the situation looks a little out of place on the outside. Something maybe that you wouldn't usually do. But maybe it's just that, just the way that it looks on the outside, that makes it perfect on the inside. I can't get him off the ground. Okay, it says snake and prepare to go somewhere, travel, or a new stage in enlightenment. All these tools leading to enlightenment can be so hard to comprehend. But remember that you can create, transmute, and transform energy. Whatever and whomever you choose to surround you at any given time. So remember that there's nothing to be afraid of. There's nothing to be worried about, because you know that you are finally secure in yourself. You know yourself and you know what you want and what you don't want. And so because you have your boundaries solid, firm, and standing strong, it doesn't matter what happens within the situation or circumstance or situationship or relationship. You know that you'll be able to handle it because nothing will gain power over yourself. Knowing who you are on the inside will allow you to bring in other things on the outside and not let them affect your solid stance in life and in yourself. And if ever something starts to trigger you or make you upset or sad or whatever, you know that you have the ability to transmute that energy and turn it into something better. Even a tool that leads you higher in your enlightenment. So, everything is a blessing in disguise. Even if it's the hardest thing you've ever had to go through, we can learn lessons from them that help us gain more knowledge and strength for later in life. The cards have been completely reset, so I'm going to shuffle pretty good. Spirit, ancestors, spirit, ancestors, archangels, angels, and all the beings working with my collective that are all types of vibrations, but want the highest, greatest for my collective. So whether that be one of the dark goddesses that are working with my collective to help them pursue their highest timeline, or an archangel who's watching over and protecting my collective. We are open to all messages as long as they will bring harm to no one and the good of all. What is it that my collective needs to know right now? What is the message that you would like to share with them? Watch your posture. something important about your posture. Maybe sitting up a little straighter will help you be more confident. And definitely try to breathe more. This is your current energy. And that is the Nine of Swords. So, Nine of Swords reversed. What else would you like my collective to know? What else would you like my collective to know? So that's their energy, and their obstacle is what? The Ace of Swords. And what about some advice pertaining to this challenge that's awaiting them? Well, we also have the Tower here. Clarify the Tower, please. Clarify the Tower. The World. Clarify the World. Clarify the World. Clarify the World. Can you clarify the world for me, please, Spirit Source? Got a bunch fell out here, so I'm just going to put those back. Excuse me. Clarify the world, please. Clarify the world, please, Spirit. What are you trying to tell us by... Holy poop. Okay, so I think Spirit didn't quite do our stuff in order, but it is the what is going to happen. So you're signifying in the Nine of Swords in reverse, being coming out of confusion and anxiety and fear, changing your self-doubt and talking better about yourself, appreciating yourself better, realizing the strength that you have, that you can get yourself out of depression and anxiety and worry and fear and all that stuff, right? And the Tower is signifying drastic change, drastic crumbling of huge either people, place, or things in our life. So it could be the concept of a religion, or a marriage, or just basically anything that was built upon falseness, anything that was built on you not being authentic, even if you didn't know you weren't being authentic at the time, that has to come crumbling down in order to bring about your higher self, your highest timeline. And the advice is to basically retain your mental clarity, have precise communication, think before you talk. It's like the logical aspect of our inner thoughts and how we're bringing about the change that we want in our life. So it's like through this tower moment, that it's going to be drastic and fast. It's going to crumble things that you think are essential in your life, but in fact were false. They were built upon a false self. Therefore, they can't stay there anymore. So there's a tower moment that brings about all of your wish fulfillments, and that will leave you in the star energy. That will leave you completely balanced, obtaining the power of water, earth, fire, and air, of the four corners of the world, of literally the balance of all things, okay? And I know this is a lot, but this is really good, because essentially we all have these tower moments until everything is completely gone from our lives that no longer should be there, because they're not serving us anymore, because we are not the same person that brought those things or built those things in their life, right? And just right off the bat, like 3 major arcanas, and just that's huge right there. And not to mention these 3, it's like amazing. And that's literally what I was saying earlier, is like us feeling stuck, not wanting to release the things in our life that we know are no longer serving us, because we're scared of what our life might look like with those things gone. Like, who will we be when those things are no longer there, right? And are we still going to be stable? Are we still going to be happy? Are we still going to be able to take care of ourselves? Well, we're putting those doubts, those fears, that anxiety behind us. You know, we're changing our mental thoughts and aligning with our higher self. And while we're changing and aligning with our higher self, stuff is just crumbling. All of the false stuff that you built on that false self is just gonna crumble. But there's gonna be a specific, huge tower moment that just feels like it's gonna be the end of the world, but in fact it's gonna be the very beginning of your world. It's going to be the very fucking start of everything you've ever desired, leaving you embodying that star energy completely. Just make sure that you don't lash out with your words when things like this are happening. You don't start freaking the frig out, panicking, and then go back and have to restart everything all over again, you know, because we don't want to stay stuck in these cycles forever. We want to be able to start our new cycle and eventually eventually bring about those things that you've been manifesting your whole life. Like for me, I've been manifesting having a business that helps the community, especially the young adults and teenagers and people who didn't have a support system growing up, you know. And that, whenever I think of my highest self, that's what I think of. Like, I will be having that business and it will be flourishing. And I know it seems silly that's my highest self, but I have always wanted that because I've always had this longing to just make huge change in the community, in the other parts of the one, you know, and in the consciousness, which I didn't realize it back then, but we are all one. So if I'm helping you, I'm helping myself. If I'm helping 10 people, I'm helping myself times 10, you know? Like, that is my highest self. That's what I want. It's what I desire. It's what I long for. So what is your highest self? And maybe you should start communicating what you envision to be that star power. How you see yourself sitting in this star power when all is said and done, and write those things down to start bringing them into fruition. Is there anything else, Spirit, that you need to tell the collective? Anything else we need to know? That was a bunch of cards, so we're not grabbing that. Ooh, there's a lot of honking back there. After a broken heart, you became the Fool and started something new. The Four of Cups is like you're bored, you feel like you're bored, you feel like you're not satisfied, you're waiting for more, and then this Knight of Wands comes rushing in and judgment is dealt out. So these are the situations that you need to keep an eye out on. And remember, you don't have to do this shit alone. Whenever something is hard and you feel like you can't do it on your own, call in your team, call in your spirit team, call in your ancestors, your archangels, your deities, what have you, and ask them to help you through it. Ask them to help lighten your load. Ask them to make things more clear and help you communicate better, and so on and so forth. And you would be shocked how much that can change things. Alright guys, have a great week, and make sure you go outside and look up at the sun and try to ground yourself a little bit, because we're gonna be needing that shit.